Hey guys, I'm Vicious V, and today we're going to do a first look on Spacebase DF9 from Double Fine Productions. This is a early release alpha available on Steam. Uh, it's a space base or city management, colony management type game. Doesn't have quite the level of humor that other Double Fine productions have, but it's coming from a different angle. It's more about taking care of your people and trying to keep them from dying in basically a super harsh environment. Why don't we go ahead and get started? Now, the first thing you do in the game is choose a location to put your starbase. And you notice in the upper right hand corner there's a bunch of statistics going by: stellar density, warp gate proximity, threat factor, and magnetic interference. All of these affect the game in different ways, but the most important one is stellar density. You want that to be as high as possible. The next most important one is threat factor. You want that as low as possible. That's basically how much bad stuff comes your way. And those are the two really important ones. Warp gate proximity affects how frequently you get ships through the area that might give you crew or whatever. And magnetic interference, it affects how often you get derelict ships that just appear in your area. Sorry. We're going to go with this location. It's got a low threat and average stellar density. It's good enough for a first look. I don't want to take forever trying to find a good area. Now here's a summary of everything I just described. We're going to go ahead and launch our seed pod, which we're going to Puce Sector 2525. 358,000 plus years estimated time until arrival. And it takes a few seconds to come up from black, but we will be dumped right into space. So I immediately want to hit spacebar and pause it because I don't know if you can see up here or not, but it's telling me that your citizens start with 8 minutes of spacesuit oxygen. That's real-time minutes. So you have that long to get started building your base. Now here we've got some asteroids right nearby, so that's going to be good for mining. I'm going to zoom out a little bit to see what the area looks like. We've got a big empty area that we could put a base in here. Now, this is very, very early alpha. There's not a whole lot there. There's really not enough for a playthrough right now, not a proper playthrough. But I can show you the basics of the game and getting a basic base started. To do that, we're going to use the various tabs over here, which also have letter key shortcuts. So I'm going to use the shortcuts extensively. I'm not going to click on the tabs much. We hit C for construction, R for room, so we can lay something out. And I have a preferred size here based on how I like to develop my bases. This is going to be a 7 by 7 floor area. Now it's the internal space. Now it's telling me you've designated construction but have no builders. Use the roster screen to assign at least one citizen to builder duty. So we have to tell these guys what their jobs are. But quickly before I go do that, I need to finish laying this out. That's good enough for now. C to confirm. We are still paused. So we're going to hit R for roster. And we're going to tell all these guys to build because they really have nothing else better to be doing at the moment. And then we will unpause. And actually, I'm going to speed this up because in the beginning, construction is really slow. They will build up their skill levels over time from performing the job, and they'll get faster at it. Some of these guys will switch off. You really want to... Oh, this is telling me about mouse controls. You really want to have as much of the roster filled out as possible, and with guys with 3 stars or better, which when you first get them, the best they'll have is 3 stars. But like this guy will want to be our technician. Don't want either of these guys as a technician, or they'll blow stuff up when they're trying to fix it. I have had that happen. I have had that kill an entire base. Oh, about that. When your guys die, once your last guy is dead, you are done. Time to start a new game. I think if you wait around long enough, you can have a ship randomly show up and bring you more crew. I don't know that. I've never waited around that long. I've only read that on some forums. I do know, though, that basically once everybody's dead, it pretty much tells you you need to start a new base. One of my builders has increased skill. So what we're doing here, we need to designate rooms. This center room I'm going to designate as life support. Alright, I need to pause because stuff is moving along too quickly. That's not important. So we're going to designate that as life support. Once they've finished this, actually I can designate it as an airlock now, but I can't really make it an airlock until those last two wall sections are put in. Oxygen has no oxygen supply. Yep, we're going to take care of that. Citizens can't go in and out of the base without a functioning airlock. We're about to take care of that, so we will unpause, let them finish their work. Okay. Seems to be lagging a little bit. We're going to go back into the construction menu. This time we're going to hit B for objects, D for doors, 2 for my airlock doors, and then X to go back, A for airlock because I need a spacesuit lock. And then the next thing that we're going to do, also in here, is we're going to hit S for life support and put in a oxygen recycler to produce oxygen for the base. Now, there's a few things going on here that either will happen differently later on, or are going to be not going to be the way they are, or going to need more later on. Right now, there is a reactor room designation in which you can build a fusion reactor, but as far as I know, in the alpha state, that causes the game to crash. It doesn't do anything right now. So, alright, we've got an airlock, we've got life support. I need to switch to my one person to being a technician, and that's going to be it for now. We're going to control demolish the seed pod for resources because it doesn't do anything for us, and then I'm going to build an addition here. Let's just do it right here, make it a 4x4, and you know what, I'm going to build another airlock directly off this, and the reason for that will become relevant a little later. Alright, so confirm that. We're going to keep moving. My builders will build, my technician will take care of that. Oh, I'm still in max speed. Okay, that's why things are kind of jumping around. Anyways, it's probably better for this that I do that, because this can be really slow right now, especially once you have the basic rooms set up. Then there isn't a lot that happens except for the random ships that come through. It kind of, let's make this a refinery. It kind of it lacks a lot of the other components that it needs. We're going to put a door in there so they can get into there, and then we are also going to go to F for refinery and put a matter refinery in there. That is what lets us break down the asteroid chunks that we mine for matter to build with. Now this is going to be an airlock. Build those doors. Now every time you go into the construction menu, it does pause the game. That is really helpful, especially when in the beginning when you're planning out your base and your guys are in their suits and only have 8 minutes of air. But once you get rolling and you really get things under control, it's nice, but it's not as critical that that this stuff happens. Now, I know the control keys real well, which is why you see me just flying through the menus, and they're not hard to learn. And the shortcuts really make life a lot easier. So, okay, we've gotten the refinery up and running. We've got an airlock leading into just that. You do want multiple airlocks because they will back up going in and out. An incoming ship has been spotted in the distance. Will arrive in a couple minutes. This is how you get new crew or pirate raids. So this could be really good or really bad for us. We'll find out when they get here. There's nothing indicating what it's going to be leading up to it. But we need to designate a miner. And let's just do this guy. It doesn't really matter. They're both 2-star. Now, mining 2 stars isn't really a bad thing. I don't know this for sure, but I think it just makes them go slower. Please help us. We have a system virus on our ship. It pops ads up over our star map software, and we can't figure out how to turn it off. We don't have a technician. We have been traveling aimlessly for an embarrassing amount of time. Our matter is almost depleted. We would like to abandon this vessel and come aboard your base. Now this, I have never had this happen and not be new crew. So of course we're going to agree to it. No problem, just don't bring your infected stuff over. It moves the camera over to where the ship is going to drop them off. Alright, and we only got 1 guy this time. The most you generally get is 2. He's a good security person, so we're going to make him that. And then we'll come back to the base. I will show you mining. Hit M for mining. Now this grid is a little counterintuitive to the stuff that's floating above it. It makes it a little bit hard to see what's going on. You kind of have to just get used to it. Confirm that. We have a new citizen. My citizens are sleeping on the floor. You need beds, which can only be built in residence zones. Let's go ahead and lay out a residence zone just to show what that is. Now this is nothing special. The beds require a 4x3 area at least. It can be larger, and you can overlap a little bit. So if you have 1 bed, that requires a 4x3, and then if you have a second bed and you want to put it parallel to that first bed, you only need another 2 more wide because you can overlap 1 row. So let's get going there. Oh, and one other thing that I'm going to set up. I don't have anyone for it right now. This I like to do a 5x5 for, just for the space. This is going to be a pub. This is basically the last functional room that we have that we haven't built. Did not mean to click that. Pub is a recreation area for your people. Later on, they're going to introduce space madness, and if your colonists' needs are not met, they'll slowly go more and more insane, which sounds really cool. It's not in the game right now, so everyone just basically needs sleep and work at the moment. And that's all that affects their morale. Let's click on one of these guys and we'll look. So his diagnosis healthy, morale happy. He's happy, he's not too bad. And his duty, he is our technician, he's rank 3. And then they have Spacebase, which is kind of like Facebook. And it's some of these things are pretty fatalistic, actually. It can be pretty hilarious. This is where a lot of the humor comes in, and it's a little bit more, morbid humor, but that's kind of what Double Fine does. And we'll see how much humor comes into play when the space madness stuff comes into effect. Let's speed things back up again because there's not much going on. Low on matter, mine asteroids to get more stuff. That other one, I think, was my people sleeping on the floor again because we don't have beds. But once we get this residence and the pub finished, that's pretty much all there is to the game at this point, other than just trying to keep your people from being dead, which can happen a lot of ways. The most common is various forms of asphyxiation. If they get caught outside in their suits and can't get inside for too long, they will asphyxiate in their suit. You can, if somehow a hole gets punched into your base's hull and all the air gets sucked out, they will either get sucked out into space or they will asphyxiate from lack of oxygen. If your oxygen recyclers break down, they will stop producing oxygen, and that will cause your people to asphyxiate. There's an O2 capacity up here. Right now we have 4 people out of 6 provided for. If this first number, this can go 1 or sometimes 2 over this second number, but beyond that, oxygen levels are going to start getting too low, and your people will start asphyxiating. Asphyxiation is the big bad guy in this game. It is what will kill. Oh, I haven't declared that to be a residence yet. Let's do that now. There's a residence, and then now see the residence floor color and the non-assigned zone floor color are not the same but very close, and it can be easy to confuse at a glance if you're not paying real close attention. I try to build beds in a unassigned zone all the time. Hey there, how you doing? Okay, this is another crew joining. This is another one I've never had be bad. If you guys want to see what it is, you can pause the video and read it. It's real quick. So we got another one guy, and he's a 3-star miner. Oh good, so now we can switch our other miner to bartender, so we will have a bartender when our pub is ready. I think we still only have the one builder at the moment, so things are kind of dragging along. Let's speed up again. So let's go ahead and designate this as a pub now. Well, your pub needs a bar for citizens to drink at it. It also needs a door, but I don't want to put a door there until the walls are finished, because, of course, I only have the one builder, so it probably won't be a problem, but because door into vacuum of space, loss of oxygen, everybody either sucks out into space or suffocates and dies, because this game is brutal. I love it. I love how brutal this game is. I can't wait for the space madness to see what kind of challenge that adds. I would like to see some more functional rooms that actually do something. That is let's see, B for pub. Put a bar down. That is really on my interest list. Because right now they're going to add the reactor and reactor room as you need that to actually power your base. So that will become a initial setup requirement. You'll have an airlock, a life support zone, and then a reactor room before you can do anything else. But still, once you have that, you know, once you get the residences and the bar and the refinery and you have your basic needs met, there's really not much to do. In fact, we're pretty much at that point right now. Like, other than expanding my life support, expanding my residences for... oh my god, what the heck just happened? I just had a... Penny Reynolds... Oh my god, Penny Reynolds died. No, I don't want to look at that. I want to look at... Marty Sinclair died. He was killed by this thing. And then I guess that's a parasite? Yeah, it's a parasite. So that probably popped out of Penny. Oh, a derelict. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about the derelict ships. Even in a ridiculously low magnetic effect zone, you will still get some derelicts. Okay, sorry guys, I accidentally stopped recording and didn't notice it. Anyways, what I was saying is there could be a hostile alien on there. I've never seen a crew member or anything show up that way. Yeah, derelicts they're fun. They give you access to new rooms. Oh, which another thing I was saying while I was not recording, these oxygen recyclers, each one of them provides 3 capacity for oxygen for people for oxygen supply. You notice I have 9, but I only have 2 of these here. Where's the other 3 coming? It's coming from the derelict. There is a life support zone with an oxygen recycler over here, and for some reason when they warp, as soon as they warp in, they immediately grant you the bonus of that effect, even if you haven't come over here and scouted out the area and seen what's in here. There are other rooms in here. Now this one is probably a residence and a pub, as well as the airlock. But some of these derelicts can have reactors on them as well, which at this point is good only for breaking down for matter. Again, you really don't even want to try to build the reactors because that will crash your game. But this is pretty much it. The only other thing there is to do from this point is to wait for pirate raids to come, or give yourself some sort of ridiculous building goal to do with the simple basic rooms that you have. There's not much more to it yet. I'm really anxious for the Space Madness. I'm sure I've said that a couple of times because that will add a whole new level of challenge. Once this gets a little bit more content to it, where there's something that's interesting to watch for more than 15-20 minutes, I'm going to do a Let's Play series with it, but I need to wait for some updates to go through. They said they're going to try to do big updates, Alpha 1, Alpha 2, Alpha 3, and so forth, once a month, and smaller updates, A, B, C, and D, once or twice a week. So we'll see what happens. I'm really interested in how this game progresses, and I really suggest you check it out. It's $25 on Steam. You can get it from the Double Fine website through, I think it's Hubble, for $30, and they do provide a Steam key for you. So check it out, buy it. It's really cool. Double Fine they're great game makers. They've made The Cave and another comedy adventure one that I'm forgetting at the moment. But I love them. They're one of my favorite game producers, and we're going to see more from them in the future. So anyways, thanks for sticking through it with me, guys. I'll see you next time.